Name the most powerful person in Silicon Valley. Go ahead, I'll wait. You said Elon. Maybe Zuckerberg. Maybe that Altman guy we already did a whole episode on, survey says. The most powerful person in Silicon Valley is the one you've never actually thought about. His name is Peter Thiel, and there is a very good chance he already knows everything about you. Let's get into the files. Born 1967, Frankfurt, Germany. Moves to America at age 1. Grows up in California. Chess prodigy. Math genius. Reads science fiction obsessively. The kind of kid who is so clearly operating on a different frequency from everyone around him that his teachers probably didn't know whether to be impressed or terrified. He goes to Stanford. Yes, I know another Stanford kid. Studies philosophy. Not computer science, not economics, philosophy. While he's there, he starts a newspaper called the Stanford Review, a conservative paper on one of the most liberal campuses in America. This guy wasn't trying to fit in. He was trying to be the guy arguing in the comments section before the internet existed. Then Stanford Law School. Lawyer? Didn't like it. How about derivatives trader? Didn't like that either. At this point, his resume is starting to look less like a career path and more like somebody speedrunning elite professions. And then, in 1998, he walks back to Stanford to give a talk. And a guy named Max Levchin walks up to him with a business plan. Digital payments, via Palm Pilot. Peter Thiel looks at this idea and says yes. And my friends, that company becomes PayPal. The richest people in the world always seem to meet in hallways. The people I meet in hallways ask if I vape. PayPal wasn't just a company. It was a recruiting event. Historians call it the tech industry's version of the 1992 Dream Team. A roster so stacked they made billionaires look like role players. The founders went on to build Tesla, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Yelp, just to name a few. They are now called the PayPal Mafia. And that name is not an accident, because Peter Thiel didn't just build a product. He built a team, loyal, brilliant, connected, and permanently in each other's orbit. This is the part of the Peter Thiel files where you slowly lower the folder and go, wait, what? In 2004, Peter Thiel co-founds a company called Palantir. He named it after the Seeing Stones in Lord of the Rings, the magic objects that let you look anywhere on Earth and see anything you want. Yeah, those stones. Now here's where it gets fun. The CIA became one of Palantir's first investors for years, quietly bankrolling a private surveillance empire. Sit with that for a second. Okay. Seconds up. You can't fully understand what Palantir does because Palantir doesn't fully tell you what Palantir does. It finds people, connects data that was never supposed to be connected, takes what you bought, where your phone was, what you searched, who you called, and puts it in one place. Now remember, Peter Thiel is a libertarian, has been his whole career, wrote essays about individual freedom, talks about government overreach like it's the great enemy of human civilization. Peter Thiel is the chairman. The libertarian built Big Brother. And then he invoiced the government. A masterclass in deception. You know what this story needs?
At this time, the heavyweight champion of the world, Hulk Hogan, readying for a title defense tonight against Hercules.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming either. In 2007, a Gawker blog called Valleywag publishes an article. The headline, Peter Thiel is totally gay, people. The story didn't out Thiel to everyone. Many people in Silicon Valley already knew he was gay, but Thiel had never publicly discussed his sexuality. So how would he respond? Quietly, invisibly over the next couple years is one of the coldest moves in the history of people with too much money and too much patience. He waited. He did say Valleywag was the Silicon Valley equivalent of Al-Qaeda with the psychology of a terrorist. But other than that, silence. He just watched and waited and let Gawker keep publishing, keep operating, keep thinking it had won for years. In 2012, Gawker publishes an explicit tape of Hulk Hogan and his best friend's wife without consent. Hogan sues, and Peter Thiel starts writing checks, secret checks. Nobody knows it's him. Gawker doesn't know it's him. The courtroom doesn't know it's him. He's just quietly funding the entire legal operation from the shadows like a Bond villain who decided litigation was more elegant than a volcano lair. And the lawsuit is specifically engineered not just to win, but to destroy. Hogan's lawyers dropped the charge that would have let Gawker's insurance cover the damages. Every decision is designed to hurt Gawker financially. Permanently. Specifically. March 2016, Florida jury, $140 million in damages. Gawker can't pay it. Gawker shuts down. The entire company, every blog, every writer, every article, gone. Then, and only then, does Peter Thiel step forward and confirm it was him, calmly. No apology, not even a smirk, like a man who just finished a task on his to-do list that had been sitting there for a while. Bro didn't cancel Gawker, he deleted it. The lawsuit wasn't just about revenge, it was about influence. Because once you've seen what millions of dollars can do to a media company, you start wondering what they can do to a country. Date, 2016. Location, the Republican National Convention. Peter Thiel walks onto that stage and says,
I am proud to be gay. I am proud to be a Republican.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
he didn't just endorse Trump. He spoke at the convention. He wrote checks. He donated over $1.25 million to Trump's 2016 campaign. He joined the transition team. He brought his network, and then, just as quickly as he appeared, he stepped back. No cabinet position, no public role, no tweets, just gone. Back to the shadows. But here's what he left behind. Numerous Thiel associates and acolytes hold influential roles across Trump's administrations. He personally funded J.D. Vance's Senate campaign to the tune of $15 million. J.D. Vance, the guy who eventually becomes the Vice President of the United States. This was all made politically possible by one man, the guy quietly pulling strings. He didn't run for anything. He didn't want a title. He just wanted the outcome. And he got it. I think we see the dots connecting. He has more recently been touring a lecture series on the Antichrist. The Antichrist. 4-part lecture series.
I'm just saying, man. I don't know how to take it either way. Next segment.
He describes himself as a small Orthodox Christian. He has said his speculative thesis is that if the Antichrist came to power, it would be by talking about peace and safety all the time, using the fear of catastrophe to justify taking everyone's freedom. Whether he realizes it or not, that's a pretty good description of what Palantir does for governments. I'm just saying. Okay, we need to stop right here, because while I was making this video, something happened. Something that I genuinely could not have scripted if I tried. Something that landed like the universe was trying to help me finish this episode. Peter Thiel got hacked. Not Palantir. Not his bank account. Something worse. His secret society got exposed. 20 years ago, Peter Thiel and a Silicon Valley investor named Orrin Hoffman co-founded Dialogue, an invitation-only network of elites from business, academia, and politics. It was so secretive, it never had a public-facing website. Its members were never identified to outsiders. Never. In 20 years. Not one leak, not one expose, not one disgruntled former attendee running to the press. Peter Thiel had built a secret society so airtight that for 2 decades, nobody even knew who was in it. They held their annual retreats at places like the Ritz-Carlton in Santa Barbara and the San Clemente Palace in Venice. The San Clemente Palace in Venice. These guys aren't meeting in a Marriott conference room. They're meeting in a 15th century Venetian palazzo discussing the fate of civilization. The registration fee in 2022 was approximately $16,000. $16,000 just to get in the room, and you had to be invited first. This is not Davos. This is not a TED Talk. Then, earlier this month, a Swiss hacker finds something interesting. Dialogue's website had an unprotected list of 113 people publicly displaying private member information. Dialogue's code had simply left the door open. The man who built a surveillance company for the CIA left the door open on his own secret society's website. I'll let that breathe. A separate source then wired the full registration list for Dialogue's 2026 retreat. 222 people. Sitting Trump administration officials, 2 U.S. senators, 6 members of the PayPal mafia, a former Middle East chief of intelligence, 2 U.S. senators, both parties. Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, Cory Booker, Democrat from New Jersey, in the same room at Peter Thiel's retreat. Off the record, Elon Musk, Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, the CEO of YouTube, the president of Stanford University, General Stanley McChrystal, the director of Neuralink, Jared Kushner. Oh, and Josh Brolin. Thanos is there. I'm not making this up. Thanos is at the Secret Billionaire Society. Brolin, a first-time attendee, was given a C grade by Thiel's organization. They grade the members. Peter Thiel's secret society grades the members. Josh Brolin got a C. The man has fought Infinity Stones, and Peter Thiel gave him a C. Now, the guest list is one thing. The agenda is something else entirely. Session topics include 3 predictions for Iran, democracy under surveillance, and contrarian AI takes. The agenda also included high-level prepping strategies, the acquisition of land in remote territories, New Zealand, isolated parts of the Mediterranean, the development of private security apparatuses, and also there's a dating app for the members. A separate website looks to romantically match interested group members. The dialogue participant form asks registrants whether they are looking for love and promises to find meaningful connections for exceptional people. Peter Thiel built Bilderberg with a Hinge account attached. Here's what I actually want you to think about, though. Because the session topics are insane, yes. The member list is wild, yes. But zoom out for 1 second. This organization has been running for 20 years. They are now building a permanent campus in the Washington, D.C. suburbs, in the vicinity of Langley and the Pentagon. Langley, the CIA, the building that gave Palantir one of its first contracts, is about to have a Peter Thiel network campus nearby. You can't make this up.